We have with us Sri N. Sudhindran. Sri Sudhindran hails from Chennai. He joined the Sri Sathya Institute of Higher Learning in 1997 in Vrindavan campus for his BCom. He went on to complete his MBA from Prashantinilayam in 2002. He served the Finance and Accounts Department of Sri Sathya Sai Central Trust from January 2003. While serving in the Central Trust, Swami blessed him with the good fortune of leading the Veda chanting group in the Prashanti Mandir. He had the great boon of serving Swami in the Yajur Mandir from 2008 till Mahasamadhi. He then moved to Chennai for personal reasons and was employed with L&T Construction from 2012 to 2015. He is currently employed in Koni Elevators, India. We are very fortunate to have Sir in with us today. We request you, Sir, to kindly come over and provide us insight and relevance of Durga Suktham and Medha Suktham in daily life.
Respected elders, my dear brothers and sisters, Sai Ram to all of you. It is my good fortune that I have been blessed with this opportunity to be here and participate in this Veda Poshana program. Not just this Veda Poshana program, but the ultimate Veda Poshana program for which Bhagwan has come is bound to succeed because it is part of his divine mission. I would like to just quote Bhagwan's words in this regard. I will read it out to you. I quote, "The revival of that dharma is a task which the rulers have not planned for. It is a program which the people are not keen upon. Then, who has to take it up? It was said that I have taken up this form in answer to the prayers of sadhus and others. There are some mothers who feed the baby only when it starts crying. The more considerate and loving type of mother knows when the baby is hungry. She need not be called to its side by a loud wail. This mother is that type of mother. I have come because I felt that I had to come. I resolved upon this. There is no need now for tears or despair, either among the repositories of Vedic wisdom or among the good who suffer from the cruel winds of adharma. This campaign will succeed. It will not fail. the welfare of the world will be ensured through the fostering of the godly everywhere, and more particularly of these reservoirs of the ancient wisdom of this land. Bhagwan Baba's discourse, unquote, Bhagwan Baba's discourse, November 1963. It is by Bhagwan's Sankalpa that we are all here, and we are part of this grand and holy task of Veda Poshana. Indeed, it's a good fortune that we are a part of this mission of Bhagwan. I have been blessed with the opportunity to speak on the topic insights and relevance of Durga Suktham and Medha Suktham in daily life. The topic is very clear. I'm not going to give you the line by line or word by word meaning of the Suktams. What I will endeavor to do is to share a few thoughts that bring out the relevance and significance of Durga Suktham and Medha Suktham in our daily lives. I must compliment the Veda Poshana coordinator, because they could not have chosen a better time for this topic. In about a week's time, we will all be celebrating the day of Navaratri in worship of Goddess Durga, Lakshmi and Saraswati. Though we worship the three goddesses during these 9 nights or the 10 days, as we say, in a year, without their grace, we cannot even live for a moment. That is why in the Devi Stuti, we all pray, Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu, Shakti Rupena Samstitha, Namastasyai, 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu, Buddhi Rupena Samstitha, Namastasyai, 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu, Lakshmi Rupena Samstitha, Namastasyai, 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 Namo Namah. Salutations to the goddess who resides in all of us as the principle of energy, as the principle of intellect and prosperity. It is because of their grace that we even live for a moment and continue to live every moment. In one way to, I'm sure you all read the meanings of Durga Suktham and Medha Suktham that have been shared, on the website. The common refrain of the Durga Suktham is Naveva Sindhum Duridat Chekni. There is a repeated reference, a prayer for taking us across the ocean or the river, for taking us across difficulties. This has been repeated 3-4 times, in the Durga Sukta. In fact, this is a very important aspect of Goddess Durga, where she is deified as Bhavatarini, the one who takes us across the Samsara Sagara. A very famous temple of Bhavatarini, dedicated to Bhavatarini, is at Dakshineshwar near Calcutta, which is associated with Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Another line which comes of Durga Suktam is Karma Phaleshu Duttam Durgam Devigum Sharanamaham Prapadye Sutarasi Tarase Nama. Again, Sutar is the one who ferries us across. But this Karma Phaleshu Duttam, she is the one who energizes and brings fruition to all the efforts. There are many treatises that have been written on the word, of this word called karma. It's a very, very heavy word, very philosophical word. It is very, very loaded. Bhagwan Baba has also expounded on it many times during his discourses. I would just like to narrate a few of them. A common definition of karma is action. The principle of karma and karma phala is, in metaphysics, can be equated, with the third law of, Newton's third law of motion in physics, which is, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. You would have seen many discourses, video clippings, when Swami was talking about this. He used to do this and say, when you hit the table also hits you back with the same intensity and force. That captures the essence of karma and karma phala. The karma, the action, and the result consequence are inseparable, absolutely inseparable. The only difference would be with respect to the timing of the consequence. It could be instantaneous. For example, when you cut your finger with a blade, instantly there is bleeding. The result is very next second. But sometimes the result could be after a few days. Say when you sow a seed in the soil, it could take a few days for it to germinate into a sprout, a few months into a sapling and a plant, and a few years for it to grow into a full tree. And sometimes the result of the karma could extend beyond years and even lifetimes. There's one example that comes to my mind. It is said when Bali Chakravarti was performing this yajna, Lord Vamana made his presence there. He appeared there in the form of a very, beautiful and lustrous child. Everyone was captivated by his charm. In the assembly there, even Bali Chakravarti's daughter was there. She was present, and as she saw Vamana coming, she was so moved, the motherly love in her arose, overwhelmed her, and she thought to herself, how I wish I could be a mother to this beautiful child and I could feed him. But this thought of motherly love soon got transformed into anger and revenge as she saw her father being, sent to the nether worlds under the earth by Vamana by placing his feet on Bali Chakravarti's head. So these two thoughts, one of motherly love and another of anger and revenge, by these two thoughts the seed of karma was sown. Later on, when the same Lord Vamana incarnated as Lord Shri Krishna in Dwapara Yuga, Bali Chakravarti's daughter was reborn as Demoness Putana. You're all aware then how the story progresses. Putana comes in the form of a very beautiful lady, takes Krishna in her arms and places him on his lap and begins to feed him with her milk. Soon, Krishna sucks the milk and soon sucks the very life force out of Putana and she meets her end. For the result of that the feeling and thought of motherly love resulted in Putana being able to feed, even for a short while, the good fortune that she had of feeding the God, the Lord himself. But the thought of anger and revenge also simultaneously manifested when she met her end at the hands of God. Now, one very important principle that we need to understand about karma, it is not merely through actions. As Swami says, as it is commonly said, it is through mano, vak, kaya. It is through thought, word and deed. So that's why Swami lays a lot of importance for unity and purity of thought, word and deed. That is Trikarana Shuddhi. That's why it's always important that we always have good thoughts, words and deeds. Swami has this wonderful way of explaining these concepts and principles. Now Swami says, watch. Watch what? W-A-T-C-H. Watch your words. Watch your action. Watch your thoughts. Watch your character. Watch your heart. So we need to constantly watch all these and ensure that they are of good nature. Because constantly we are generating karmas through these. Incessantly, even involuntarily and without our knowledge. So our endeavor should be to consciously watch these and make sure they are directed on good path. However, having said that we should always perform good karma, Swami then goes one step further. He says, ultimately, be it good karma or bad karma, both of it binds us to this samsara. In order to go beyond the samsara, we'll have to completely exhaust this deposit of karma that each one of us carries. And that's why Swami compares the bad karma to a chain made of iron and good karma to a chain made of gold or any precious metal. No? It is miserable to get tied to an iron with an iron chain and be bound and shackled. But by being tied with a golden chain, you don't experience freedom, do you? Both the chains ultimately bind you, keep you in bondage to the samsara. Therefore, Swami says we should transcend both good karma and bad karma and go beyond it. Now, how do we do that? Swami gives us a very easy solution. He says, whenever you perform karma, first begin and consciously offer your prayers to the karma or the action. Tasmai namaha karmane, he says. Offer your prayers to the karma. Make it holy. Transform it. Like Swami says, transform work into worship. So by doing that, there is this principle of divinity attached to it. And then once the karma is executed and completed, Swami again instructs us to say and pray, Sarva karma bhagavat vidyartham. May all my actions be a loving offering at the divine lotus feet. And therefore, when you consciously dedicate all your actions, all your karma to God, it no longer belongs to you. Which begs the question, then what is your role? Your role is that of an instrument. Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11 says, Nimitta matram bhava Sathya Sachan. Be an instrument, Arjuna. Be an instrument in the divine hands, in the divine mission. There's a wonderful incident that comes to my mind in this regard. It was those years in Prashantanilayam Mandir when just before the evening bhajans began, there used to be a flute recital for about 10 to 15 minutes. One of those evenings, Bhagwan had finished granting interviews to devotees, and he was conversing with the students on the veranda. There was the typical atmosphere of Prashanti Mandir: calmness, peace, quiet, and meditative silence. That was the atmosphere, as always, in Prashantanilayam Mandir. Suddenly, when the flute music began, everyone was startled. Swami then asked one of the students in front of him, where is the sound coming from? Immediately the student pointed to a loudspeaker just behind Swami. Swami then said, yes, the sound is coming from the loudspeaker, but the person who's playing the flute is sitting inside the bhajan mandir. Though apparently we see the loudspeaker, which is the origin of the sound, the true source of the sound is from within. Similarly, when we perform all the karmas, whatever action that may be, we are only an instrument like the loudspeaker. And the person who is using this instrument is God, is our Lord, Satya Sai, who resides in our heart, Hridaya Nivasi Satya Sai. It is God who is the actual doer, who is the actual silent performer of all the karmas, whereas we are the loudspeakers. So this is the attitude that we must cultivate of being an instrument in divine hands. And by doing that, we can aspire and endeavor to go beyond the good and bad karma and their consequences. In fact, this is also mentioned and referred to in the Purusha Sukta, when it is said, Yajnena yajnamajadanta devaha tani dharmani tathamanyasan te hanagam pahimanas sachante yatra purve sadhyasanti devaha. The devas performed the sacrificial yajna by offering the yajna to itself and thus attained the highest heavens. It is similar to daily sandhya that was done earlier in those days, when people used to go to the river, be submerged chest deep there, take the water from the river, offer prayers and offer the river water back into the river. The river water was never yours. You just took it from the river, offered your prayers, and offered the same river water back to its source. That is the attitude that we must cultivate. And by doing that, we can aspire and we can pray that Bhagwan, as Goddess Durga, will take us across the ocean of samsara. Coming now, so these are a few thoughts that I want to share with you regarding the Durga Suktham and the principle of karma. Now coming to Medha Suktham, Medha Shakti is intelligence, and Swami lays more importance on Buddhi Shakti, intellect. Swami says Buddhi Shakti subsumes Medha Shakti. Swami gives this very easy example for us to grasp the concept. He gives the example of a car. How the four wheels of the car are controlled by the steering wheel. And the driver in turn, by controlling the steering wheel, he is able to give direction to the movement of the car. Similarly, the steering wheel of the mind controls and directs all the four wheels which are compared to the manas, the mind and the senses. But unless the driver or buddhi takes control of the steering wheel and directs it along the safe path on the road, there is bound to be accident. That is why it is necessary that we pray to God for subuddhi, in order for us to direct the journey of our life safely on Sanmarga or the Godward path. And for this, we need to follow the traffic rules or the rules or the teachings of the Vedas. But for us to study and master the Vedas and grasp its teachings in completeness is really impossible, impractical, because as it is said, Ananto vai Veda, the Vedas are infinite. Nobody can master the entire Vedas. It is impossible. Then how do we go about this? We get these for all the examinations. We get these guidebooks, right? Which the question bank, the frequently asked questions. Swami's teachings, Swami's discourses are the guide bank, the guidebooks for us. They are the crystallized form of the Vedic wisdom. Once a devotee asked the renowned Vedic scholar Brahmashri Kamavadhani Garu, "Sir, does Swami know Vedas? Can he chant Vedas?" In reply, the great Vedic scholar said, "Ayya, Swami Chapatame Vedam, whatever he utters is Veda. Whatever comes out of his mouth is Veda." I will give you, a small example as to how simple statements of, Swami contain, the essence of so many lines of Upanishadic verses. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, in the Brahmanandavalli, there is this inquiry into Ananda. Seishanandascha mimagumsa bhavati yuvasyat sadhu yuvadhyayakaha ashishto dridishto balishtaha tasyayam prithvi sarva viddasya purnasyat sa eko manusha anandaha. It is said while inquiring into the principle of Ananda or bliss, the Upanishads asks us, to take a hypothesis. Suppose there is a youth, a young man who is physically very, very strong and sturdy and beautiful and handsome. One who is very, very learned, very, very knowledgeable, who is very wise. Okay? So we have in him physical prowess and mental prowess. And to add to it, suppose he has under his command the entire wealth of the whole world. Just take a few minutes, seconds to imagine what it means. It means that he is the absolute owner of all forms of riches and prosperity on earth. Be it gold, precious metals, precious gems, stones, land, buildings, whatever, currency, livestock, whatever you name it, he is the absolute owner of the entire riches on this earth. Okay, this is a hypothetical situation that the Upanishad asks us to consider. So in this youth, we have physical and mental and intellectual capacity and proficiency of the highest order, and also he is blessed with the entire wealth of the earth. Now what else is there for him to aspire for? Roti kapda makan is gone beyond that also now. In him, the Upanishads say, his ananda, his joy is equal to 1 unit of manusha ananda, 1 unit of human joy. No, I think most of us here don't even have half of that or even quarter of that. But for the hypothetical situation, let us assume in him we have 1 measurement of human joy. It is said 100 times that te shatam manusha ananda seko manushya gandharvanam ananda shrotriyasya cha kamadasya te shatam manushya gandharvanam ananda seko deva gandharvanam ananda shrotriyasya cha kamadasya te shatam deva gandharvanam ananda. Like that it progresses, saying, like we mentioned, 1 unit of human joy. So 100 units of human joy is equal to 1 unit of joy of a class of beings called Manushya Gandharva. 100 times Manushya Gandharva Ananda is equal to 1 unit of Deva Gandharva Ananda. 100 times that. It builds so on and so forth. It progresses to Karmadeva, Deva, Indra, Brihaspati, Prajapati, and ultimate Brahmananda. Arithmetically, if you plot this, Brahmananda is equal to human Ananda into 10 to the power of 24. 1 followed by 24 zeros. You can't even imagine what that figure is. You can't even name it. Billion, trillion, whatever it is. That is the huge gap that we see when we compare Manusha Ananda, human joy, and Brahmananda, divine absolute supreme bliss. When we are struggling to even achieve a fraction of Manusha Ananda, do we have any hope of achieving Brahmananda? Sorry, I can wind up the speech and get going. It's no point just to talk about it and say, yeah, you can achieve that. Good to hear about it. But some of you may have carefully listened. Any lawyers in this group? Okay, no wonder you didn't get it, because always the fine print is there, no? The Upanishads, actually it's not a fine print, it's very bold. Only thing we don't notice and follow it. At the measurement of every Ananda, right from Manushananda up till Brahmananda, there is one verse that keeps repeating every time. Shrotriyasya chaka mahatasya. What does it mean? Shrotriya is the one who has mastered and imbibed the Vedic wisdom. Shruti, Shrotriya. Shrotriyasya chaka mahatasya. Akamatasya. One who has imbued the Vedic wisdom, and importantly, one who is bereft of desires. Akama. Kama desires, akama. Upanishads say, by being a Shrotriya, a man or a person full of Vedic wisdom, and being bereft of desires, one can attain that Ananda. Saeko manusha ananda, Shrotriyasya chaka mahatasya, Shuddham manusha ananda, Saeko manushya gandharvanam ananda, Shrotriyasya chaka mahatasya, Shuddham manushya gandharvanam ananda, Saeko deva gandharvanam ananda, Shrotriyasya chaka mahatasya. It goes on. Saeko brahmana ananda, Shrotriyasya chaka mahatasya. By being a Shrotriya, bereft of desires, one can attain Manushananda and also Brahmananda. Any Ananda in between can be attained by a Shrotriya who is bereft of desires. This is what is mentioned in the Ananda Mimamsa and the Brahmananda Vali Taittiriya Upanishad. For having bored you for the past 10 minutes about this, in contrast to that, Swami in his discourses gave us a very simple formula. Man minus desires is equal to God. Full stop. That's it. He's crystallized the entire Vedic wisdom of the Upanishads that I just chanted all that into one simple formula that even a first standard student can understand. But many of us struggle to implement in our daily lives. Man minus desires is equal to God. Period. This is just one illustration of how Swami's words contain the crystallized essence of the Vedic wisdom. Do we have to look elsewhere? No. Swami often says that his discourses are Bindu and Mandu. Bindu means feast and Mandu means medicine in Telugu. The way Swami's discourses, when you hear him, it gives us so much joy, fills us so much of love and hope and knowledge. It's a feast for our senses. And also Mandu, because his teachings help us to get rid of this disease of samsara. So this is what I wanted to share with you, is that when we have Goddess Saraswati herself, the Medha Devi with us, guiding us, having granted us so many opportunities to learn and follow his teachings, should we not utilize that? With respect to Medha Suktham, therefore, we need to look nowhere. We need to, like how we pray in the Medha Suktham to Goddess Saraswati and all the gods for Medha Shakti, we should repeatedly pray to Bhagwan for Medha Shakti and Buddhi Shakti, gods to direct ourselves and our lives and also our fellow beings on the Godward path. With this, I would like to bring my speech to an end, but before that, I would like to read a quote from Bhagwan's discourse. As I mentioned, in less than a week's time, we have the Navaratri celebrations coming. And we know, we know the meaning of Durga and Medha Suktham. And I have tried in my humble way to, bring to your attention what are the related references from Bhagwan's teachings which are pertinent to Durga Suktham and Medha Suktham. I would request you to pay attention to this, quotation from Bhagwan's discourse on how we should celebrate the Devi Navaratri in worship of Goddess Durga, Lakshmi and Saraswati. I quote, "The life of a man who cannot respect and love his mother is utterly useless. Recognizing one's mother as the very embodiment of all divine forces, one must show reverence to her and treat her with love. This is the true message that the Navaratri gives us. The Supreme Shakti manifests herself in the form of Durga, Lakshmi and Saraswati. Durga grants us energy, physical, mental and spiritual. Lakshmi bestows on us wealth of many kinds, not just money, but intellectual wealth, the wealth of character and others. Even health is a kind of wealth. She grants untold riches to us. And Saraswati bestows on us intelligence, the capacity for intellectual inquiry, and the power of discrimination. The Navaratri festival is celebrated in order to proclaim to the world the power of the goddesses. One's own mother is the combination of all these divine beings. She provides us energy, wealth, and intelligence. She constantly desires our advancement in life. So, she represents all the three goddesses that we worship during the Navaratri. There is no need to propitiate Durga, Lakshmi and Saraswati for energy, material, prosperity and worldly knowledge. If we love and adore our mother, we shall be showing our love and devotion to all goddesses." Unquote. Therefore, not just Durga Suktham or Medha Suktham or Shri Suktham, but while we pray to God and seek physical, energy, intellectual power, prosperity or whatever, we should realize that first of all we need to honor and respect and love our own mother and father, for they are the embodiments of God that God has gifted to us. But we should also bear in mind that beyond the physical love and affection that we have for our parents, we should have, if we can love our parents, our mother who has shown us so much love and affection, then how much more should be our love and devotion and dedication to the Divine Father and Mother, Sai Baba. How much more should we love him? How much more should we strive to follow his teachings and be a part of his divine mission? This is a question that all of us, including me, should ponder over and implement in our daily lives. I thank you all for your patient listening, and I seek your forgiveness if I have committed any mistakes. I thank Swami for this wonderful opportunity given to me. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.
thank you so much for giving such a wonderful talk on the significance, the relevance of Durga Suktham, Medha Suktham, on Medha Shakti, on the impact that karma will have on us. And you really brought in one way Swami with his words, and you brought him back here with us. It has been a very, very insightful talk.